Welcome back, Brandon and Leica here. Today we'll be going over your grammar card. The grammar card is very important because if you have a dictionary and your grammar card, you can say pretty much anything you want to in Japanese. It might look a little complex and it is a little tricky to understand, but once you do, you'll not only be learning Japanese, but you'll be able to teach yourself Japanese, which I think is even better.
For this video, you should have your hiragana and katakana charts, the verb list, and the grammar card. We'll be going through all of this pretty quickly, so make sure that you can pause and rewind so you can catch anything that you missed the first time. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments.
Today we will start our journey into the grammar card, specifically this section right here. Let's get the easy boxes out of the way first. Japanese parts of speech. These are verbs, descriptive nouns, and nouns. These are general terms that we'll cover more in depth another time, but for now, know that any word in Japanese will be one of these four. Verbs end in sentences and can be conjugated. Descriptive verbs are pretty much adjectives that act like verbs. Descriptive nouns are words like nouns in the sense that they can't be conjugated. And finally, actual nouns.
Next are the Japanese sounds. We've covered this pretty well in the last video, but it's always good to review. The only sounds in Japanese are a, as in father, I, as in ear, u, the sound in to, e, as in tent, o, the o in okay.
Now we'll jump into the main lesson for today, bases and conjugation. I think of different bases in Japanese like different gears in a car. Just like certain tasks require certain gears, certain grammar patterns need certain bases. If you're wondering what a bumpo is, first of all, it's bunpo, and it's Japanese for grammar, but used as a slang word in English to mean grammar structures or grammar patterns. So that's what this sentence on the grammar card means. We conjugate verbs because bumpos require certain bases.
Let's look at the kinds of verbs. There are two kinds of verbs, ichidan and godan, and two special verbs, suru and kuru. Plus there's some exceptions, or godans that look like ichidan. Ichidan verbs are verbs that end in iru or eru, and godan verbs end in anything else, but always the u sound. The ichidan and godan groups cover every verb in Japanese, besides the two unique verbs, suru and kuru. You may be wondering why some godans look like ichidans, and you can blame it on the kanji. The exceptions are easy to spot when you take a look at the kanji, and you can see how they aren't really exceptions. Take the verb taberu, which is an ichidan, and shaberu, which is a godan. In Romaji, you can't tell where the kanji is. But written with kanji, you can see that taberu ends in beru, and eru, so it's an ichidan. While the kanji in shaberu includes shabe, making the verb actually end in just ru, so it is a godan verb. The trailing kana, the kana not in the kanji, is what determines the end of a verb. These characters are called okurigana.
Quick analogy here. To change your verb through the different bases, you need to know the stem, like a plant. The stem is the unaltered form, like in English we might call it the root word. Just like a stem has branches, the bases are modifications on the stem, but as a note, bases aren't necessarily words all by themselves. I usually refer to bases by their numbers for ease, but they go by other names as well. Base 1 is also known as the negative form. Base 2 is the nominal, noun, or mas form. Base 3 is the dictionary form. Base 4 is the conditional form. Base 5 is the volitional form. Base 10 is the continuative form, and base ta is also known as the past tense form.
To find the stem, you just cut off the last character, ru. Let's try an ichidan first. So you look up to eat in the dictionary and you see that the word is taberu. So you take taberu, then chop off the ru, and you have the stem, tabe. Let's run it through the bases. Base 1 for ichidans is just the stem, so base 1 is tabe. Base 2 is also just the stem, tabe. You might be curious why base 1 and 2 are the same for ichidans, but for now, just accept it as an immutable law in the universe, to be covered in detail another time. Base 3 is the stem plus ru, taberu. Remember that this is the dictionary form for verbs. Base 4 is stem plus de, tabere. Base 5 is stem plus yo, tabeyo. Base te is stem plus te, tabete. And base ta is stem plus ta, tabeta. Let's run through one more ichidan. How about the verb fall, like falling down? So you look it up in the dictionary, you find ochiru, to fall down. Fun fact, this was actually one of my first words, because I'd like to push things off my tray table and say, ochiru. Anyway, we have the word ochiru, and minus the final ru, you get the stem, ochi. Base 1 is stem plus nothing, so ochi. Base 2 is also stem plus nothing, so again, ochi. Base 3 is stem plus ru, the dictionary form, so ochiru. Base 4 is stem plus de, ochide. Base 5 is stem plus yo, ochiyo. Base te is stem plus te, ochite. Base ta is stem plus ta, ochita.
Now on to godans. Because godans end in a variety of syllables, the stem is the verb minus the final syllable. Let's look up the verb to drink. Nomu. Here's nomu minus the final syllable, which gives us the stem, no. Now the bases follow the vowel sounds, a, I, u, e, o. This is why I wanted you to learn hiragana from a chart which arranges everything in those 5 vowel groups. Base 1 is the stem plus the a sound from the m or ma column, so base 1 is no ma. Base 2 is stem plus the e sound, so no mi. Base 3 is stem plus the u sound, so no mu. Remember, this is dictionary form. Base 4 is stem plus the e sound, no me. And base 5 is the stem plus the o sound, but ever so slightly rounded out and elongated, no mo. Base 10 and ta get a little more complicated, so we'll get to that in a moment after we take another verb and run it through this process. Let's look at the verb to buy. Kao, to buy. Kao minus the final syllable, just the u. And so our stem is ka. Since the final syllable was just a vowel, no consonant, it would be weird and difficult, honestly, to pair 2 ah sounds together. Therefore, the ah sound for base 1 for verbs that end in just u is wa. So base 1 is kawa. Base 2 is stem plus the e sound, so kai. Base 3 is stem plus the u sound, kao, or dictionary form. Base 4 is stem plus e, kai. Base 5 is stem plus o, kao. Again, base te and ta we'll get to in a moment. Here's a hiragana chart. Hopefully you've seen our other video and are now familiar with the order of the chart. Hiragana is arranged into 5 rows which correspond to vowels and 10 columns which show consonant relations. Remember, this goes top to bottom, right to left. These also correspond to the 5 bases. So if your verb ends in mu, like nomu, the 5 bases are no ma, no mi, no mu, no me, no mo. The verb kao ends in the u character, so we put it through the vowel column. Its bases are kawa, because of the diphthong of kao, kai, kao, kai, kao. You can see how important it is to learn kana in this order because it helps with conjugation.
We've done lots of talking so far, so now we'll break it up and sing for you guys. We're not very good singers, so bear with us.
Sing to me, Paolo.
This is what dreams are made of.
But we need to learn the base te and ta for godan verbs. The song we learned uses the chorus from Silver Bells.
우츠르 테 부무는 데 그이테 그이데 스시테 are the te and ta bases. 우츠르 타 부무는 다 그이다 그이다 스시다 are the te and ta bases.
Right away, you might have noticed the double T in the first line of each verse. This goes by many names, some including the glottal stop, or a slur, stress marker, or sometimes we just call it small tsu, because that's how it's written. It amplifies the consonant sound of the kana on its right. So base te of the verb kuru, to come, is kite, while base te of the verb kiru, to cut, is kitte. Kite versus kitte. Let's look at another one. The word for together is issho. Notice the double S, issho. Without it, you say isho. This means a note left by a dead person, which is probably not what you're trying to say. While it has other uses, for now, just know that the small tsu amplifies the consonants. So back to the song for base te and ta. Even if you don't know what they mean now, we can look at examples of godan verbs and how we could conjugate them to their te and ta bases. Remember, these are verbs that don't end in iru or edu, but still end in u. So for example, kao, matsu, and aru turn into katte, matte, and atte. And asobu, nomu, and shinu turn into asonde, nonde, and shinde. Kaku goes to kaite, oyogu goes to oyoide, and hanasu goes to hanashite. For base ta, kao, matsu, and aru turn into katta, matta, and atta. And asobu, nomu, and shinu change to asonda, nonda, and shinda. Kaku goes to kaita, oyogu goes to oyoida, then hanasu goes to hanashita. Let's sing the song once more.
우츠를 테 부무는데 구이대 구이대 수시대 are the te and ta bases. 우츠르다 부무는다 구이다 구이다 수시다 are the te and ta bases. As a side note, when I learned Japanese, I didn't use this song, but I know a lot of people that did, and it seemed to help them. For me, I didn't know the song Silver Bells, and I had a hard time focusing on a new tune and Japanese words. So, at any rate, you just need this memorized. If you use the song, great. If not, that's okay too. But make sure you learn the te and ta bases for godan verbs. Now we can fill in base te and ta for godans. For nomu, to drink, they are nonde and nonda. For kao, to buy, they are katte, katta.
Today we went through this portion of the grammar card. Props to you for making it this far. We learned about parts of speech, vowels, conjugating verbs into their bases, and the te and ta base song. For next time, be sure to practice identifying verbs as either godan or ichidan. This is where a physical dictionary or a verb list comes in handy. It'll be easier to pick random verbs and quiz yourself on if they are godan or ichidan if you have these handy.
Once you identify the verb as either godan or ichidan, practice drilling it through the bases, at first in order from bases 1 through 5, then te and ta, and then at random. For instance, let's say you find the verb to play, asobu. So at first you would think to yourself, is it ichidan or godan? Well, it doesn't end in iru or edu, so it is godan. Then you would run it through the bases, asoba, asobi, asobu, asobe, asobo, asonde, asonda. Then mix it up, do the bases but out of order. Practice base te and ta, sing the song. Also practice suru and kuru. Their bases are set as they are on the card, so you just have to memorize them. If you can find a friend to be a study buddy, that is also helpful because you can quiz each other. That's all for today. Now here's Paku-chan.